You've always known it deep down. The praise came when you made yourself small. The approval flowed most freely when you edited your voice, masked your fire, pulled your truth back behind careful smiles and agreeable nods. They liked you more when you disappeared. It wasn't always obvious at first. The conditioning was subtle. A raised eyebrow when you spoke too passionately, a slight turn away when your emotions ran too deep, the way conversation shifted when you brought up things that mattered. You learned to read the room, to measure your words, to keep the depths of your soul tucked safely away where they couldn't disturb anyone's comfort, and they rewarded you for it. "You're so easy to get along with," they'd say. "So mature, so balanced, so pleasant." What they really meant was so quiet, so compliant, so carefully contained. You became a master at the art of selective invisibility, present enough to belong, invisible enough not to threaten. But something in you never stopped aching, a wild ancient thing that remembers what it was like before you learned to disappear, before you started treating your truth like a dangerous animal that needed to be caged, before you began believing that your intensity was a problem to solve rather than a power to embrace. Carl Jung wrote, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." Your disappearing act wasn't fate. It was a survival strategy, a learned response to a world that preferred your silence to your voice, your absence to your presence, your mask to your face. Look at how it happened, piece by piece. The first time you dimmed your light because it made others squint. The moment you started apologizing for taking up space, for feeling too much, for seeing too clearly. The way you learned to package yourself in smaller and smaller boxes until you could fit neatly into other people's expectations. They praised you for becoming digestible, for smoothing your edges, for turning down your volume. "You've really grown," they said, when what they meant was, "You've really shrunk." And part of you believed them. Part of you thought that this disappearing act was growth, was wisdom, was love. But love doesn't ask you to vanish. Growth doesn't require self-erasure. Wisdom isn't about becoming less. It's about becoming whole. The truth you've been hiding isn't a mistake to correct. It's a light trying to break through years of careful darkness. Feel how tired you are from all this disappearing. Notice the weight of every swallowed word, every buried feeling, every truth you've traded for approval. Your body knows the cost. Your spirit feels the drain. This careful containment has become a prison, and something in you is ready to break free. Remember who you were before they taught you to disappear. That fierce, alive being who spoke without filtering, who felt without apologizing, who moved through the world like they belonged in it. That version of you still exists. Beneath the layers of pleasing and performing, your original voice is waiting. It's scary, isn't it? The thought of becoming visible again, of letting your truth rise to the surface, of taking up space unapologetically. Because, some people won't like it. The ones who grew comfortable with your silence might resist your voice. The ones who preferred you small might back away when you expand. Let them. Your truth isn't meant to make everyone comfortable. Your voice isn't meant to soothe those who prefer silence. Your light isn't meant to dim itself for eyes that prefer darkness. As Jung said, the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are, not who others want you to be, not who you've learned to be, who you truly are. This journey back from invisibility isn't about becoming someone new. It's about remembering who you've always been. It's about excavating your buried voice, reclaiming your hidden power, letting your truth rise like a phoenix from the ashes of your careful, disappearing acts. Start small. Notice the moments when you automatically reach for invisibility, when you swallow your words to keep peace, when you make yourself smaller to make others comfortable. Don't judge these patterns. They helped you survive. But now, it's time for them to evolve. Begin speaking your truth in gentle waves. Let your voice emerge like a sunrise, gradual, natural, inevitable. You don't have to shout to be heard. You don't have to force your way into visibility. Simply stop forcing yourself into invisibility. Stop holding back the light that naturally wants to shine through you. Watch what happens when you allow yourself to be seen. Yes, some people will back away. Their discomfort with your authenticity is not your burden to carry. But others will draw closer, attracted to the genuine force of your being. Your truth will act like a beacon, calling forth those who are ready for real connection. This is what Jung meant when he spoke of individuation, the process of becoming fully yourself, not in opposition to others, but in alignment with your own soul. It's not about rejecting connection or community. It's about showing up as your whole self within those connections. Notice how your body responds as you begin to emerge. There might be fear. Years of conditioning don't dissolve overnight. But beneath the fear, feel the relief. Feel how natural it is to simply be yourself. Feel how much energy is freed up when you stop maintaining your disappearing act. Your sensitivity isn't a weakness to hide. Your depth isn't a flaw to correct. Your intensity isn't a problem to solve. These are your gifts, your tools, your natural ways of moving through the world. They only became burdens when you started believing they needed to be hidden. Listen to the voice that's rising in you now, the one that's tired of disappearing, the one that remembers your original power, the one that knows you weren't born to shrink yourself for others' comfort. You weren't meant to trade your truth for approval. You weren't created to disappear. This is your permission slip to be seen, to speak your truth, to take up space, not aggressively, not defensively, but naturally, like a flower blooming, like a bird singing, like a star shining. Nature doesn't apologize for its existence. Neither should you. They might have liked you more when you disappeared, but you're not here for their likes. You're here for your truth, for your voice, for your light, for the unique way you see and feel and move through the world. That's not something to hide. It's something to honor. Feel the strength in your emerging voice. It's not angry, though it has every right to be. It's not defensive, though it's had to protect itself. It's simply true, clear, real. The voice that's always been there, waiting for you to remember it's okay to be heard. This journey back from invisibility isn't about becoming someone else. It's about unbecoming all the ways you learned to hide. It's about remembering that your truth doesn't need to be earned or justified. It's your birthright, your natural state, your home. Welcome back to yourself. Welcome back to your voice. Welcome back to visibility. The world needs your truth more than it needs your disappearing act. The right people will celebrate your emergence, and the ones who preferred your silence, they'll adjust or they'll fade away. Either way, you'll be free. You're not here to make yourself small enough for comfortable consumption. You're here to embody your full truth, to speak your authentic voice, to shine your natural light. Let the world adjust its eyes. Let those who are ready draw closer. Let those who aren't fall away. Your truth is rising now, like a tide that can't be held back. Your voice is returning like a song remembering its melody. Your light is emerging like a dawn that can't be delayed. Welcome it all. Welcome yourself back from invisibility. They might have liked you more when you disappeared, but you'll love yourself more when you finally allow yourself to be seen. And that love, that self-acceptance, that alignment with your truth will attract exactly who and what is meant for the real you. Step into your visibility. Speak your truth. Take up space, not as an act of defiance, but as a return to natural law, like water flowing, like wind blowing, like light shining. This is who you've always been. Welcome home. The world is ready for your truth, even if not everyone in it is. Your voice matters, even if not everyone wants to hear it. Your presence is a gift, even if not everyone knows how to receive it. Trust that. Trust yourself. Trust the power of your emerging truth. You're not just stepping back into visibility. You're stepping into your power, the power that's always been there, waiting for you to reclaim it. The power that some people sensed and tried to dim. The power that you're finally ready to embrace. Let your truth rise. Let your voice sound. Let your light shine. The world needs fewer disappearing acts and more authentic presence. It needs fewer careful masks and more genuine faces. It needs fewer silent agreements and more brave truths. It needs you, the real you, the whole you, the true you, not the carefully constructed version that others preferred, not the silent, invisible one who kept the peace at the cost of your soul. The actual, authentic, alive you who's been waiting all this time to emerge. Welcome back to visibility. Welcome back to truth. Welcome back to yourself. This is where you belong. Think about all the times you felt most alive. Those rare moments when your truth slipped out unfiltered, when your voice rang clear and strong, when you forgot to make yourself small. Remember how it felt? That rush of authenticity, that surge of pure being. That's not just emotion. That's your natural state trying to break through. The world taught you that your intensity was too much, that your depth made others uncomfortable, that your authenticity disrupted the careful choreography of social masks. But what if that disruption wasn't a mistake? What if your so-called too muchness was exactly what this world of surfaces and shadows needed? Carl Jung understood this when he wrote, "The world will ask you who you are, and if you don't know, the world will tell you." For too long, you've let the world tell you who to be. Smaller, quieter, more palatable. You've accepted their definitions, their limitations, their comfortable boxes. But something in you has always known there was more. Feel how your body responds when you speak your truth without filtering it first. Notice the energy that flows when you stop holding back. This isn't aggression or rebellion. It's nature finding its course. Like a river after a dam breaks, your authentic self wants to flow freely again. You might worry that being visible means being vulnerable, that speaking your truth means risking rejection. And yes, there is risk in authenticity, but there's a greater risk in remaining hidden, the risk of never knowing who you truly are, of never discovering what you're capable of when you stop disappearing. The people who truly belong in your life will celebrate your emergence. They'll recognize the courage it takes to step out of invisibility. They'll understand that your truth isn't an attack on theirs. It's simply your soul claiming its right to exist fully, freely, without apology. Watch how different relationships respond as you begin to show up more fully. Some will deepen, enriched by your authenticity. Others might grow distant, uncomfortable with this new version of you that refuses to disappear. This sorting is natural, necessary, even sacred. It's the universe helping you align with what truly matches your frequency. Your sensitivity, the very thing they told you to tone down, is actually your superpower. It lets you feel what others miss, see what others overlook, understand what others ignore. Your depth isn't excessive, it's essential. Your intensity isn't too much, it's exactly enough for the life you're meant to live. Remember those moments when you forced yourself to be less? When you dimmed your light because it made others squint? When you swallowed your words because they might disturb the surface level peace? Each of those moments was a small betrayal of your essence. Each disappearing act cost you vital energy, authentic connection, real peace. But here's the beautiful truth. You can reclaim that energy now. You can gather all those scattered pieces of yourself, all those hidden aspects, all those buried truths, and bring them back into the light. Not with anger at those who asked you to disappear, but with love for the part of you that's ready to emerge. This journey back to visibility isn't just about speaking up more or taking up space. It's about remembering who you are beneath all the adaptations and accommodations. It's about reconnecting with your essential nature, the one that existed before the world taught you to disappear. Notice how your energy shifts when you give yourself permission to be seen. Feel the difference between the exhaustion of hiding and the aliveness of authenticity. Yes, being visible requires more courage than disappearing, but it also gives you access to a deeper well of strength, a more sustainable source of power. Your truth has been waiting patiently all this time, through all the careful silences, all the strategic withdrawals, all the times you chose invisibility over authenticity. Your truth has remained constant as a heartbeat, persistent as breath. It never left you. It never will. This emergence isn't about becoming someone new. It's about stripping away everything that isn't truly you. All the masks you've worn, all the roles you've played, all the ways you've made yourself smaller to make others comfortable. These aren't your true identity. They're just survival strategies you can now thank and release. Feel the difference between speaking to please others and speaking your truth. One depletes you, requires constant monitoring, leaves you feeling drained and disconnected. The other energizes you, flows naturally, connects you more deeply with yourself and others who resonate with authenticity. Your journey back from invisibility might trigger others who are still committed to their own disappearing acts. Your emergence might remind them of their own buried truths, their own silenced voices, their own carefully constructed cages. That's not your burden to carry. You're not responsible for managing their discomfort with authenticity. Watch how your relationships begin to shift as you refuse to disappear. Some people might try harder to make you small again, to push you back into invisibility. They're not evil. They're just comfortable with the old dynamic. But their comfort is not more important than your truth. Others will be drawn to your authenticity like moths to a flame. They'll recognize in your emergence something they've been yearning for in their own lives. Your visibility becomes permission for them to be more visible too. Your truth-speaking becomes an invitation for them to find their own voice. This is how real change happens, not through grand gestures or dramatic declarations, but through quiet, persistent truth-telling, through showing up as yourself day after day, even when it's uncomfortable, through refusing to disappear, even when disappearing would be easier. Your sensitivity, your depth, your intensity, these aren't flaws to fix or problems to solve. They're essential aspects of who you are. They're the very qualities that make your presence in the world unique and valuable. The right people will not just tolerate these qualities, they'll celebrate them. As you continue this journey back to visibility, be patient with yourself. You didn't learn to disappear overnight, and you won't unlearn it overnight either. There will be days when the old patterns feel safer, when invisibility beckons like an old friend. That's okay. Notice these moments without judgment, then gently choose visibility again. Your truth doesn't need to shout to be heard. It doesn't need to fight to be valid. It simply needs to be expressed consistently and clearly, without apology or explanation. Like water wearing away stone, your persistent truth-telling will naturally create space for your authentic presence in the world. This journey isn't about becoming perfect or never disappearing again. It's about building a new relationship with visibility, with truth-telling, with taking up space. It's about choosing again and again to be seen rather than to disappear, to speak rather than to silence yourself, to shine rather than to shrink. Feel the strength that comes from this choice, not the brittle strength of defensive walls, but the flexible strength of a tree that bends with the wind while staying rooted in its truth. This is the kind of strength that sustains itself, that grows deeper with each challenge, that nourishes rather than depletes. Your emergence isn't just for you. Every time you choose visibility over disappearing, you create space for others to do the same. Every time you speak your truth, you make it safer for others to speak theirs. Every time you refuse to shrink, you show others that they don't have to either. This is your invitation to come home to yourself, to reclaim every part you've hidden, every truth you've silenced, every aspect you tried to disappear. They're all waiting for you, all these pieces of your authentic self ready to be reintegrated into the wholeness of who you truly are. Welcome them back one by one. Welcome back your voice, your presence, your power. Welcome back your truth, your depth, your intensity. Welcome back all the parts of you that make others uncomfortable. They're not flaws, they're your gifts to the world. The journey back from invisibility isn't a straight line. It's a spiral, bringing you back again and again to deeper levels of truth, authenticity, and presence. Each turn of the spiral is an opportunity to choose visibility, to affirm your right to exist fully, to declare your truth without apology. You're not just recovering from disappearing, you're discovering who you've always been beneath the careful masks and strategic silences. You're not just becoming visible, you're becoming whole. And in that wholeness, you'll find a peace that no amount of disappearing could ever provide. Trust this process. Trust your emergence. Trust that the world needs exactly what you've been hiding all this time. Your truth, your voice, your presence. These aren't burdens to bear, they're gifts to share. And the right people will receive them with joy and gratitude. You're ready now, ready to be seen, to be heard, to be known, ready to take up space, to speak your truth, to shine your light, ready to stop disappearing and start fully appearing in your own life. The world is ready too, even if it doesn't know it yet. Welcome back to visibility. Welcome back to truth. Welcome back to yourself. This is where you belong. This is who you've always been. This is your time to shine. The journey back from invisibility isn't just about being seen. It's about seeing yourself clearly for the first time, looking in the mirror and recognizing the soul that's been waiting there all along, the one that never needed to disappear, the one that was always enough, exactly as it was. Think about all the energy you've spent maintaining your invisibility, the constant monitoring, the careful editing, the strategic withdrawals. Imagine redirecting that energy into simply being yourself, into letting your truth flow naturally, your presence expand organically, your light shine without restriction. You might worry that fully emerging will overwhelm others, that your unfiltered presence will be too intense. But consider this. What if your intensity is exactly what's needed in a world that's drowning in superficiality? What if your depth is the very thing that could help others find their way back to their own truth? Carl Jung reminded us that the most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely. Perhaps that's why disappearing felt safer. It was a way to avoid the terrifying power of your own completeness. But you're ready now, ready to face the full force of who you are, ready to embrace every aspect of your being. Notice how your body relaxes when you stop holding back. Feel the release of tension in your shoulders, the deepening of your breath, the settling of your spirit into its natural rhythm. This is what freedom feels like. Not the freedom of disappearing, but the freedom of finally, fully appearing. Your emergence will create ripples. Some people will back away, uncomfortable with the force of your authenticity. Others will draw closer, attracted to the truth they sense in your presence. Both responses are perfect. They're helping you align with what truly matches your frequency. Remember, you don't have to justify your existence. You don't have to explain your truth. You don't have to apologize for your presence. These are your birthright, as natural as breathing, as legitimate as sunlight, as necessary as water. The world needs your particular medicine, your unique way of seeing, your special way of being, your specific truth that only you can speak. It needs your depth in this age of superficiality, your authenticity in this era of masks, your truth in this time of careful lies. As you continue to emerge, you'll discover that visibility isn't just about being seen by others. It's about seeing yourself clearly. It's about recognizing your own worth, validating your own experience, honoring your own truth without needing external confirmation. Your sensitivity isn't a weakness to overcome. It's a gift to cultivate. Your intensity isn't a problem to solve. It's a power to channel. Your depth isn't a flaw to fix. It's a treasure to share. All these aspects of yourself that you were taught to hide are actually your greatest strengths. Let this be your declaration of emergence. I choose to be seen. I choose to speak my truth. I choose to take up space, not as an act of defiance, but as an expression of natural law, like a flower blooming, like a bird singing, like a star shining, simply being what I was created to be. You're not just returning from invisibility, you're returning to yourself, to the truth of who you are beneath all the adaptations and accommodations. to the essence that existed before you learned to disappear, the presence that never needed to be less than it was. This is your time. Time to emerge, to speak, to shine. Time to let your truth rise, your voice sound, your light radiate. Time to stop disappearing and start fully appearing in your own life. Welcome home to yourself. Welcome back to your truth. Welcome back to visibility. The world has been waiting for exactly who you are, exactly as you are. It's time to let yourself be seen. Remember, they might have liked you more when you disappeared, but you'll love yourself more when you finally allow yourself to appear. And that self-love, that self-acceptance, that alignment with your truth, that's the real journey. That's the real homecoming. You're ready now, ready to be seen, to be heard, to be known, ready to take up space, to speak your truth, to shine your light, ready to stop disappearing and start fully appearing in your own life. This is your permission to emerge. This is your invitation to exist fully. This is your time to shine. Welcome back to visibility. Welcome back to truth. Welcome back to yourself. This is where you belong. This is who you've always been. This is your time to shine. And the world is ready for your light.